gentlemen, welcome to the BBC Spews on the 30th of March. Huzzah! Late start today because I was late starting and late to the gym and late doing everything. Still, better late than never. I very rarely hear that. I was going to make a quip about hearing it in the bedroom, but better late than never. Definitely never hear that. Always too early. Thanks for tuning in anyway. All the regulars are in. Hello to, well, that's quite a number. I'm not going to name check everyone, but thanks as usual to Kate for moderating, and Jeff Wedden, Sean, Son of Max, Dave Mitchell, Mark Thompson, Patrick, how are you doing? This is England, Son of Max, Benzies, Char, Scouse, Orby, Craig Hewitt, Ragnar, and Jim Glass, Lucy Clark, etc. Blue Falcon Suck, how are you doing? Sped West. You know, I just watched the video today. Can you remember when, I think it was an Australian TV show where they always do birthday greetings. Someone sent in that famous picture of Fred and Rose West and said, oh yeah, just a very happy 30th anniversary to my mum and dad. And the reporters were like, you know, because it's all fake, isn't it? They have to be smiley and nice all the time. And they're like, oh, that is such an adorable photo. You would think, a case as famous as Fred and Rose West, you would think that almost nobody could get taken in by that. Like, they're up there, aren't they, with, like, I don't know, Ted Bundy, Jeffrey Dahmer, Harold Shipman. Like, you would think the really big serial killers, you wouldn't be able to con a TV program. Like, they'd have a researcher they'd pass it round. Every time you're going to do a TV section about something like that, you would think they'd pass the fucking photo around the team when they're on the lunch break, and someone would go, it's fucking Fred West, that you barmy cunts. You know, I suppose it's funny just because Britain being the way it is, it's a little island. It's sort of insulated, isn't it? And it is easy to fool the Americans and the Aussies and other people. I've seen a few good ones. I'm sure someone's done Harold Shipman. Oh yeah. There was a famous one, wasn't there, where the baseball stadium was doing serial killers. Let me have a look. See if I can find that, because that's just reminded me. That was funny as well. Here we are. Yeah. It was Australia again. Here we go. It was the fuck off, Guardian. I'm not giving you any money. I'd rather give money to Fred West than the Guardian. So that's strangely apt for what we're talking about, isn't it? I'd rather send Fred West a fucking Christmas card every year for 10 than donate to the Guardian. Keir Starmer didn't recognise Jimmy. Yes, fair enough. I guess even, although no, our politicians are ignorant, aren't they? Famously ignorant. Our politicians appear ignorant of the fact that bipartisan, tripartisan, across every single party, political divide, everything in the UK, the general public in Britain have been sceptical of mass immigration for 30 years, and we've still got it. So British politicians are ignorant, aren't they? They're either ignorant or they're wholly malevolent and doing the exact opposite of what the general public want them to do, which is pretty much 100% directly opposed to what they're supposed to fucking do, because the taxpayers are supposed to be the people that are paying their bastard wages. Well, they are the people that pay their wages, and they are supposed to enact the will of the people. So if the will of the people has collectively been for at least 30 years, whoa, slow the fuck down, we shouldn't have as much immigration as we do. But what would you say they are other than ignorant? Pig ignorant. Jimmy Starmer, not Jimmy Starmer. Keir Starmer, not knowing who Jimmy is the least of his fucking worries. He appears to not know his arse from his elbow, that useless twat. Captain Hind twat. Yeah, look, here we are. It was Australia's NRL fan cardboard cutout scheme turns sour after use of Hitler and murderer Harold Shipman. Fox Sports issued apology for poor taste TV sketch. What you have to say, right? I mean, all right, so it's supposed to be fans of the team you could send a photo in, and then they'd put a cardboard cutout of you up for the game, which is, if you're daft enough to spend a penny doing that, you want your fucking head read. But Hitler, how the fuck? It said what started out as fun and inclusive. Inclusive. They love that word at the Guardian, don't they? Fucking inclusive. No, it's not inclusive. It pisses off 90% of the population, all this woke shit. How is it inclusive if everybody hates it? How? Oh, it's inclusive, but everybody thinks you're a twat. It's not inclusive, is it? The only thing it's inclusive in is including everybody in their mutual disgust, loathing, and hatred for the ridiculous shit for brains communists that run the fucking world nowadays. Yeah, mega inclusive. Cheers. It said over the weekend, a photograph of mass murderer Harold Shipman made an appearance in the stands. Then a TV sketch featured an image of Adolf Hitler, prompted furious criticism from Australia's Jewish community. Listen, you shouldn't have to be a member of the Jewish community to know who Hitler is. I mean, fuck me. People of our age, I'll say I'm assuming because I'm not far left, 80% of my viewers are over the age of 30. But people say that we mock young people unfairly. And we say that they're stupid when the science, they love using fake data, don't they? The science suggests they're cleverer than they ever have been. Cleverer than they ever have been. And they fucking aren't. Fucking aren't. They definitely aren't. Someone somewhere in this organisation didn't know who fucking Hitler was. That's how thick they are. Oh, yes, rest in peace, Chris Madison. I was out there when that happened. Yeah, I invaded Iraq. Fucking time flies when you're having fun. I believe he was from my unit as well. I didn't know him personally. I think he was from the northeast as well. Was he not from Gisborough? I thought he was a northern lad. But yeah, I remember it all well. The weird thing is time goes so quickly. It doesn't seem like it was that long ago. But yeah, rest in peace, Chris. I try not to do shout outs for stuff like that. Not because of any, obviously, not because of any issue with paying my respects to the dead. I always wear my poppy for a couple of weeks. But I just don't think it's a good look for social media characters to constantly go on about it. I know that Sargon and the Lotus Eaters got a little bit of shit for not doing anything regarding Remembrance Day. But I don't think it's a good look, again, because people like me and those of my political opinions are always trying to be on the liberal side of things. And I've never felt comfortable with poppy fascism. I believe I made the case. Like I always wear mine for about 2 weeks, because when you're a bootneck, you get brainwashed into doing it. You know, you get made in known certain terms that if you don't always wear your poppy, you're a selfish prick and you may as well piss on the dead baby's grave. So I always wear one. But again, being a centrist sort of well-rounded chap, I don't believe in the sort of aggression that the right has manifested towards people that don't want to wear it. I'm always somebody that believes if someone doesn't want to wear a poppy because they're a communist fuckhead, they should be free to do that. And I should be free to occasionally laugh at them and call them a communist. Like, you know what I mean? I'm not down with the aggressive poppy fascism that some nationalist types go with. And obviously, everyone has the right to complain about it. Also, I'm a big believer in not interrupting your enemy when they're making a mistake. And the ignorance displayed by people who complain about the poppies is always a joy to behold. It was like I was talking yesterday about Whoopi Goldberg having no iota of knowledge about what she was talking about with relation to the British Empire and India, and well, the whole history of the fucking country. And people who slag off the poppy appear to have total ignorance of historical events. There's that fucking bog-brained fucking dipshit who played for Celtic, who was always going on about the football player who refuses to wear one. And it's strange, isn't it? Because you would assume that people of Irish descent would be well aware that as the Irish didn't get their independence until the 20th century, that those poppies emblemize literally thousands of dead working class Irish lads. The rank and file. The distaste for the poppy really is based off pure ignorance, because who were the biggest victims in all of the wars? I mean, think about this. It goes back to time immemorial. Let's go on a bit of a rant about this. When fucking Game of Thrones popularized the sort of medieval era to people via the medium of fantasy, because young people are ignorant, they don't like reading history books, it was all just based off true events. It's all based off the War of the Roses, all the wars of successions in England and Europe in general, more widely Europe, but specifically England, specifically the War of the Roses. And even back in the day, just as is true now, the people who do all the dying are the working classes, the normal people, the boys from the Mersey and the Thames and the Tyne, as Elvis Costello sang. It's us. So why would someone like James McLean or any bitter, resentful Irish nationalist, who, again, they're always communists as well. It's weird how you don't get Irish independence without being a communist. They're fucking weirdos. Again, even if I was quite passionate about a united Ireland, I don't think I'd be willing to throw in with the commies. Same in Scotland. Even if I was a devout Scottish nationalist and I hated the English, but which is in itself quite an ignorant proposition, I wouldn't be willing to throw in with the SNP, because they're basically fucking communists. Like, if getting an independent Scotland or a united Ireland required me to be a communist, I wouldn't be willing to do it. I'd say, you know what, I'll hold my nose and I'll wait until we get a normal, reasonable nationalist outfit. But it makes me feel better that none of us are being served, are we, by our leadership? Because we're getting stitched up by our Conservative Party that's not conservative. The Scottish nationalists that aren't rank irrational hatred of the English, or the same with the Irish United Ireland lot, they're not being served either, because I'm assuming that large quantities of them don't have an irrational loathing for the English, because it doesn't make any sense. But they're not getting well served either, because I'm sure most of them, being working class lads, if any of them know anything about history, they don't want to be communists. So it's quite funny to me that you have to be a Bolshevik to be a nationalist in Scotland or in Ireland. Weird, innit? So we're all getting stitched up, which makes me feel quite good. But yes, the SNP are proper, but that's what I'm talking about. Like, you don't get to be a Scottish nationalist without being a communist. So any Scotsman who wants to have an independent Scotland, you have to accept the fact that you should just wait, mate. Just wait. You don't think people in the northeast and the north of Britain, the north of England, like the collection of posh reprobates that run the fucking UK, do you? But we're not saying we have to be independent. We need, the north should just secede. York, anywhere north of York should just become its own country, because we realise that you've got to be a pragmatist. And if you're Scottish and hate the English, or think that the English are fucking up your country, well, welcome to the club, lads, because we're well aware that the British politicians and everybody in the Houses of Parliament is fucking up the country. We agree with you. But flag-waving nationalism, headed by a bunch of full-blown communists like Sturgeon, isn't the way to go into the sunlit uplands. And I'd say the same to Irish nationalists. But anyway, wasn't going to talk about that for ages. The point is, the poppy represents anyone who was killed in a war, in a conflict. So to be anti-poppy when you're a working class lad, you're just ignorant. You're just ignorant. It's not political. It doesn't represent. An Irishman should be as comfortable with a poppy as an Englishman, because guess who's been getting stitched up by the rich and bleeding their life's blood for this fucking idea for centuries? It's the working classes. And that's the point I was going to make. It's the same since time immemorial. When the War of the Roses was going on, what used to happen? Fucking Richard and all of them cunts, Harold, they're all scrapping each other all the time. How many times did Richard get taken hostage before he died in a battle? It was like, normally, they cause a bit of chew, have a massive barney, all the working class, all the fucking peasants get slaughtered. And the rich, who are all related to each other, get taken like hostage. And then they just get kept in relative, well, not relative, in splendor compared to how the peasantry is living at the time. And they have feasts and they drink fine wine, and then they get paid a massive ransom, and then they let them go. And then they go at it again and again and again and again. And all that's happening there is the peasantry are getting slaughtered while the nobility are just fucking around. We're dying for the vanity of the elites. And that hasn't changed. It's the same now. It's the same now. Look at Iraq and Afghanistan. It's a good example because the Russians, because they're hard stretched, they've actually lost a lot of high-ranking generals. You look at Iraq and Afghanistan in the last 25 years, what percentage of the dead, this is just what this rant was brought on by mentioning Chris dying in the Iraq war. What percentage of the dead in Afghanistan and Iraq were above the rank of major? Because as I've said, above the rank of major is when you're a fucking politician. You know, when I was doing advanced contact patrols in Kajaki, we had a lieutenant or a captain or a major. But anybody else, they don't fucking go on the ground. They don't do any fighting. How many people above the rank of major got killed? I bet you it's not. I bet you can count it on one hand. I think the Americans lost like 2 above the rank of major in fucking 2 decades. Doesn't happen. So the principle's the same. If you're like a working class person from anywhere, England, Scotland, Ireland, Wales, anywhere in Europe, and you're slagging off the poppies, have a word with yourself and just read some books. I'm not having a go at James McLean for being a fucking bolshy, chippy Irish nationalist. I'm a chippy fucker. If I was a Catholic born in Northern Ireland, I'd probably be a chippy Irish nationalist as well. But at least read some books so you don't make yourself out to be an ignorant twat. Because it doesn't really make any sense having a go. Fucking concentrate on the political struggle of getting a united Ireland. Don't have a go at the poppy. The poppy's literally, poor working class scum get killed because rich people send them to die in wars. You know what I mean? It really doesn't need to be any more complicated than that. And same difference. How many politicians' kids die in war? How many? Fucking, they're so fine the rear they have to send the Dobie forwards. Sorry, the laundry. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. Same mud, same blood. Exactly right. So have a word with yourself, Mr. McLean. It's ridiculous. Have a word with yourself. Anyway, that was what I was going to talk about today. I just found that was hilarious. Oh, we insist that the young kids know as clever as they've ever been. Of course they fucking are. And apparently none of them recognise Hitler. like you have to be a Jew to recognise Hitler. Well, apparently if you were born after about 1990, you do, because we've just bred a generation of fucking idiots. They know all about pronouns though, don't they? They don't know any of the most contemptible people in history. They've probably never fucking heard of the Holodomor or Pol Pot and the Khmer Rouge. They know nought about Stalin. Now they don't know what the Great Leap is. They have no fucking idea about any Great Leaps. They know all about pronouns, though. Fucking loads about them. Anyway, which reminds me, I wanted to do just the BBC homepage today because you know what I noticed? Hopefully it stays still there. So this is just the homepage, right? Untouched, just bbc.com. I'm not cherry picking anything. Have a scroll down to the sports section. Look at this. Sport. It's all the women's stuff. Women's Champions League. Shane Warne's Memorial. Women's cricket. This is on the homepage. Like, tell me they haven't got an agenda. And unfortunately, again, like I keep talking about the rubber hitting the road, they can take over the programming of the world as much as they like. The woke fucking Illuminati, whatever you want to call them. They can't change reality. And we talk about that with gender identity, and we talk about that with the bill that's just gone through in Florida, what they were calling Don't Say Gay, and they keep printing headlines about it, but then you read the headline and it's the most milquetoast thing ever. I mean, seriously, they are struggling because they can't change reality. So they can keep repeating the same bollocks to an totally disinterested general public. They can keep saying Ketanji Brown was asked to define a woman. Science says it's more complicated than that. Really? Really? I mean, they can keep saying it as much as they like. The public ain't buying what you're selling. And also, with relation to Ketanji Brown, using their own twisted ideology, we've got nothing to celebrate, have we? Again, this is exhibit fucking hell. I did D yesterday. I'm on about Z. In fact, I've gone all the way through the alphabet. We're on the doubles now. This is exhibit A's AB of the insanity of the woke ideology. Because, as I've said 100 times, they keep contradicting themselves, right? Because it fucking makes no sense. It makes no sense. So they keep contradicting themselves. Another good example would be, I did show you guys that story, didn't I? The science says it's more complicated than that. Let me see if I can find that one. Ketanji Brown. I think it was last week. Here we are. Yeah, it was USA Today. I did show you guys this. Asha Blackburn asked Ketanji Brown to define woman. Science says there's no simple answer. Like, again, it's just laughable. They keep going on about the science as well, don't they? The science. Like, we used to respect science back in the 90s. People that were conservative and centrist and middle of the road were the ones that respected science. And we used to laugh because, especially in Britain, because the religious fundamentalists around the world would always deny science. It didn't know by the way you were talking about, like the age of the earth or a shit ton of the fucking mad shit that the regulars at Allen's snack bar believe in. Yeah, the boys who go to the big shiny golden bell end churches, you know what I'm talking about, regulars. They believe some mad shit. And we used to laugh at them and say, haha, they don't even follow the science. It's come full circle again. And now the insane, although not full circle, because I've just reminded myself of that class scene in Last Action Hero where he calls him a spaghetti slurping Sicilian. Because he goes, hey, you come around on me full circle. And he goes, no, you cretin. If I went full circle, we'd be back to where we started, wouldn't we? It's done a 180. And you've now got the woke constantly talking about science while just lying. You know, again, like it proves it's a religion. That Kent Hovind, they're the videos I used to watch in the 90s when I was a chippy atheist, going on about like his fake science to try and make all of his religious beliefs sound plausible. That's what they do now, the woke religion. They keep talking about the science and then it's just absolute bollocks. It's absolute bollocks. It's not the science that we understand it, i.e. empirical, data-driven, experimental science that's a proven fact, like fucking algebra, mathematics, physics, chemistry, biology. It's bollocks. It's pseudoscience. It's the same pseudoscience that some fucking Alan snack bar fella will be spewing about, oh yeah, actually, this proves that, you know, fucking Mighty Moore lived to be 730 years old or some bollocks. And look at this, Marsha. There's no science says there's no simple answer. Yeah, that's not true. That's not true. Science says adult human female. It's no more complicated than that. But this, I know I'm shifting around a lot. You know how I go. The chat. I'm as malleable as Play-Doh. The chat leads me to these strange places. The point I was making with this story is, that story is, if they're going to constantly go on about woman, they're constantly go on. They're the ones who go on about it all the time. The next Supreme Court judge is going to be a woman. The next vice president is going to be a woman. Woman, woman, woman. Whammon, whammon, whammon. Well, if you're going to insist that science now says that there's no simple answer, ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to tell you that, unfortunately, once again, because your ideology makes no sense and contradicts itself constantly, this is all bollocks, isn't it? Because if science says there's no simple answer, then I'm sorry to tell you that Ketanji Brown Jackson isn't a fucking woman. So what are we celebrating exactly? And Sean King's black, even though he's white. So she's not fucking black either. She's not black either. So Ketanji Brown Jackson, according to the woke people who keep going on, whammon, whammon, whammon. Ooh, Kamala Harris, even though she's got the IQ of a fucking flip-flop, whammon, whammon, brown whammon vibe. She's black. She's not black. Meghan Markle, she's black. She's not. She's not black. And she's not a woman because the science says there's no simple answer. Are you in, as your brain tied itself in knots yet, ladies and gentlemen? Because it should have done. It should have done, using their own insane fucking proclamations, which is the point I keep making. It's. Do you see it yet? Whoever the woke is in the chat who keeps talking bollocks, do you see it yet? I'm not creating anything intellectually stimulating. I haven't wrote some astounding novel like Solzhenitsyn or fucking or Orwell. I'm not really doing anything. All I'm doing, because I'm just a normal bloke, is reading the shit you guys say and then waiting a week and reading the shit that you guys say that completely contradicts everything you've ever said. And I'm sitting here going, how isn't everybody on the same page as me? Is that not a fair comment to anybody watching this? I'm not doing anything difficult here. I work for a living. I'm a busy man. I've got hobbies. I like painting Space Marines. I've got lots of things to be getting on with. So I'm free to admit that this is low effort entertainment. I haven't wrote the Gulag Archipelago. I haven't fucking brainstormed and wrote a fantastic novel like 1984. I'm just reading the news and every day being absolutely astounded that anybody can throw their lot in with the woke. Because the woke will say one thing on a Monday, and by the Wednesday, they've killed their own fucking argument. Because they obsess over womanness. Oh, wow, womanness, this ridiculous illiberal ideology. We have to have a woman judge. We have to have a woman vice president. What if they're not qualified? Fuck it, they've got to have a minge. And then you wait 2 days and they go, what is a minge? Like it's some sort of fucked up philosophy class for perverts. But what is a minge, eh? Science says there's no simple answer. So congratulations that you haven't nominated a black woman. First black woman to ever be on the Supreme Court. No. Could be a bloke. Could be a bloke according to your science. Could be white according to your science. Right? Easy. Fucking easy. I win again. I'll tell you what, it's easy, this debating lark, isn't it? It's too easy. That's the point. I think I'm of average intelligence, probably above average sense of humor. I'm good at taking the piss out of people, but really that's it. It's low effort stuff. I don't write novels. I don't plan. I don't have a script. I literally just read the shite that the woke come up with on a Monday and then read the shite that the woke come up with on a Tuesday, and fucking hell, it's butting heads. It is the immovable fucking... It's the unstoppable force hitting the immovable object. They rebut their own arguments, and I don't have to do anything because they're mental, right? Because they're mental. What chapter? Ultramarines, for 2 reasons. First of all of the fanboys hate the Ultramarines, and I like an argument. So I love tipping up a game empire in Pasadena. I used to love taking my army in and just letting people have a pop about the Ultramarines. So I picked the Ultramarines because, first of all, I was a Marine. I am a Marine. So I wanted something with Marine in the title. Ultramarines. Secondly, being a man of logic, Reboot Guliman is the best Primarch. And if it was real, he would have kicked everybody else's ass. The idea that he's going to lose a scrap to some drunk fucking pissed Viking or some goth like Korax is laughable. The Ultramarines, if it was all real, the Ultramarines would be the best chapter because they'd be the most professional, they'd practice the most, and they'd be the most well-drilled. And they'd sit there like polishing the weapons and going to the range and doing like martial arts and shit, while all the rest of them were pissing about. Vulcan's boys would be in the forge. All the wolves would be pissed. It's just obvious. And also because I like an argument. And I'm a Marine myself. So there's numerous reasons why I play Ultramarines. But let's not talk about that now. I'll have to do a side chat for all of the Warhammer 40k players. Crimson Fist are class. They've got a hoofing diorama in the museum at Warhammer World of the Crimson Fist Defense of Rin's World, and it's fucking mint. Anyway, I'm not here to talk about that. I don't want to bore the ladies. So yeah, that's class, isn't it? So you lose, Walk. Ketanji Brown Jackson isn't black and isn't a woman. Haha, checkmate. Checkmate. Sorry, that's what else can I say? Back to the BBC, which is what we're here for. Yeah, so the sport headlines are all women's sports. It really is unbelievable. All I'll say about this is, again, I know we've gone from Warhammer to sport, probably annoying the ladies present. But I'm sure the ladies that watch the Angry Bootneck are far too logical and reasonable to take umbrage with it. Have you ever watched ladies football? I mean, ladies, have you ever watched ladies football? I don't know how else to say it and sound politically correct, but again, I'm a man of logic. I can't make myself utter lies just to placate the viewers, right? Ladies football's terrible. It's fucking boring. It's like watching, like when you're in primary school, whenever a dog comes onto the school field, everybody freaks out. Go fucking hell, it's a dog. Everyone goes mental. Watching women's football is like watching if a black Labrador ran onto the playing field in a special needs school and all of the children started forming minor mobs and chasing the dog around the field. That's what women's football looks like to me. It's just fucking awful. And I say this as a Middlesbrough fan. A tattooed Middlesbrough fan. Have you seen that? Look how embarrassing that is. A Borough tattoo on my arm. I mean, how bad's that? Worst of all, it used to be a deep, vibrant red like my T-shirt. And now it's like some sort of fucking homosexual pink lion. But I can't bring myself to get it repainted, like retouched up, because I don't want to get touched up. It was a terrible joke. I can't bring myself to get it touched up because it's a tattoo, and I think anyone over the age of 30 who gets a tattoo is a fucking idiot. But it's terrible. I'm a Borough fan, and even I sit there watching ladies football, just thinking, how do you watch this? It's enough to make your fucking eyes bleed. It's terrible. It's terrible. And again, I'm not having a pop at women. This is the point. Any reasonable woman watching this knows this. Humans are not equal. We're a sexually dimorphic species. Women are better than men at plenty of things. But physically, they aren't the equal of men. Controversial, I know. The science says otherwise. Of course it fucking does. Of course it does. That's why over the years I've met loads of women who can run faster than me and bench more than me. Yeah, that's why. Because the science says so. Fucking believe that and you'll believe anything. Men and women are different. Women are better than men at plenty of things. I can name some, actually, because I'm a man of science. Women are much better with we're basically understanding the general emotional outputs of human beings. Like, women are really good at it. Women are much more empathic. Women are much more in tune with the feelings. Women make much better psychologists and counselors because they're emotionally intelligent. Men are fucking useless. I'm useless at it. My wife's great at it. I'm fucking terrible. She's the type of one who quickly understands people's feelings. Like, I'll meet someone in a bar and go, he was sound as fuck him. And my wife's like, no, he's a fucking weirdo. And I'll be like, what are you talking about? He was a diamond geezer. And a month later, he's on the front page of the paper because they've caught him wanking outside the primary school. That's the type of thing that women are much better than men at because of evolution. We've got different brains. Women are better than men at plenty of things, but nothing physical. Although, no, I'll tell a lie, there is one, isn't there? I think because women store more fat and a higher percentage of their body is fat, women are better at long distance swimming. So if you want to swim the channel, it's nice to have some nice thick thighs. But again, this is actual science because I went to school in the 90s, and that means I know lots of science, as opposed to the fucking lunatics nowadays who don't know the difference between a man and a woman and have never heard of fucking Hitler. Although that's history, not strictly a science. So yeah, women are better at plenty of things, but very few things physically. They've got a higher percentage of fat, a lower percentage of muscle, much less bone density. There's numerous ways why women are not up to par with men physically. And That's totally fine. And women don't have to be better than men physically. Again, normal people, even militant feminists, Posey Parker, that Meghan Murphy, they're not sitting at home going, well, I could run faster than the bootneck. They know they can't. But they don't take it as a damning indictment of women because they're not fucking freaks. Normal women know that they aren't as fast and strong as men, but they know they've got other talents. There's another good one. Women are better liars than men, which makes sense about the emotional intelligence thing, right? Anyone who's ever seen True Romance knows this is true. Women are better liars than men, much better liars. Diplomacy, women are just as good as men. I would think they can be better because they're more manipulative, that whole emotional intelligence thing. You can't be, this is what I've said, I'm a feminist. Thatcher, Queen Victoria, Queen Elizabeth, there's three great women. But I don't have to think Margaret Thatcher could run as fast as fucking John Major, right? Obviously, when we're in the youth or something, I don't know, John Major's probably she'd probably kick fuck out of John Major in their old age, to be honest. But yeah, women are better than men at some things, and men are better than women at some things. That's fine. The world's big enough for us all. All reasonable women agree with the bootneck, not the woke communists who cannot see reality because their ideology poisons them against truth. This is why they can't help but lie, because their entire ideology is based on fiction. If you just get used to lying yourself about the basic things, like men are as strong, women are as strong as men, and women are as fast as men, and a woman can have a fucking 12-inch clitoris, and a man can have a fucking gaping set of beef curtains. When you get used to embracing that ideology, lying becomes second nature to you. And that's why the BBC and CNN and MSNBC and all of our politicians and Justin Trudeau, Joe Biden, and all the rest of them just lie for a fucking living. That's why Ketanji talks more shit than Aldridge Pryor, the hopeless liar. These people are pathologically incapable of being honest because their ideology demands it of them. It's almost not their fault. Again, it's why when your lefty arseholes pop up in the chat, all they do is name call, like, oh, you're a racist, you're a sexist. They don't offer any tangible evidence for anything, because if you get into an actual argument with these people, they know they will lose because they lie all the time and we don't. So that's why they say cancel, disinvite. Richard Dawkins said something true, don't let him speak. Throw him out of the university. Ben Shapiro, milk toast, run-of-the-mill, dull as dishwater, Orthodox Jew. Oh, you can't let him speak. Why? Or because he says things that contradict our ideology, and our ideology is built on straw. These people do nothing but lie. It's a cult. They're mentally ill. So all they can do is tell you you're not allowed to have the argument. You're not allowed to talk about what they don't agree with. You're not allowed to discuss the merits of it, because if you start talking about facts, they fucking lose. Anyway, so that was a little, you can have that for now. You can have that for now, that little rant about militant feminists. In fact, not even militant feminists. Most of them are all right. Most militant feminists are simply pro-women. They're not denying the reality of the fact that blokes can bench press more than women. You know what I mean? Even they are fucking more sane than the woke, which is why they're all getting called TERFs and fucking attacked mercilessly by blokes in fucking skirts. So the last thing I want to talk about is the Don't Say Gay bill. And I'm obviously going to have to pick a BBC story because this is the BBC Spews. Right. Bear in mind that this is the BBC, so they're using all of the spurious techniques they can to obfuscate the truth from you. But let's just actually read this instead of just concentrating on the headline. Because I watched Governor DeSantis on TV yesterday, and I was left staggered at the criticisms he's received. And then I actually read the bill, and I was left even more staggered, triple staggered, flabbergasted that it's even been a thing. So we'll read the BBC's ridiculous version of events, and then I'll quickly tell you the truth, right? Florida's Senate has passed a bill to ban discussions of sexual orientation or gender identity in primary schools. Again, I mean, that's just a fact, so they can't obfuscate it any. Does anybody care about that? Does any reasonable parent think that's the fucking that's the end of the world? That's hateful and bigoted? Governor Ron DeSantis is expected to sign the measure which would bar teachers from teaching these topics to children under 10 years old. Again, anyone listening think that's unreasonable? Critics say the bill will isolate LGBT youth. Proponents say it's about empowering parents. Activists have dubbed it the Don't Say Gay bill. The Republican-backed legislation passed on Tuesday. It prohibits instruction about sexual orientation between kindergarten and third grade when students are roughly between 5 and 9 years old. Again, have we got to anything unreasonable yet? And I'm using the BBC. I'm not reading this from the fucking Daily Mail, communists. I'm going as left as I can. It also calls on school districts to avoid LGBT topics when not age appropriate or developmentally appropriate for students. White House press secretary, this is the funny bit, because she's fucking insane, decried the passing of hateful legislation targeting vulnerable students. So there you fucking go. That's it in a nutshell. The BBC tried to water it down as well as they could and followed it with insane proclamations by Jen Fox-pissed Psaki and geriatric shitpants Joe Biden. But the simple fact is this, ladies and gentlemen, the bill is the most reasonable milquetoast fucking bill you can possibly imagine. And there is no controversy, right? None. And do you want me to prove to you how there is no controversy? Again, for any woke, what's the polite word for them? Cunts listening. At what age did we, I'm talking about anyone over the age of about 30, at what age did we learn about sex? I happen to know for a fact it wasn't in primary school because I went to primary school. Again, this is difficult stuff. You really have to do the reading to get your head around this. We didn't learn about fucking in primary school, ladies and gentlemen. It didn't happen. The first I remember getting told about shagging was in secondary school when I might have been second year. I'm pretty sure it wasn't first year either. Point is, we learned about shagging when we were about 11 or 12. And I remember everybody would laugh because you all know it's coming because you're old enough to discuss these things in the playground and you all know it's coming. And someone always says, I bet you one of the girls fades. And sure enough, there's always one girl who's a little bit squeamish. And when you get to the videos all about childbirth, and because you start doing it in PSE class, personal and social education, there's always one when you get to the childbirth one where one of the girls fades and everybody laughs, right? So, and it is fucking honking. But, you know, you're 12 and you know what's coming and you start with the sex stuff and you do basic biology. And then you do a bit of sex, and then you do the childbirth one. And then you're looking at it, and you're like, and you're actually staring at a woman's fucking bacon drapes. And then all of a sudden, bleh, the whole thing comes out, and you go, but there's always one child in there who fades, and everybody laughs at them. The point I'm getting at is, as we've all ascertained from the chat, the Florida bill it's legislated common sense that is probably acceptable to 99% of parents. The only people who've got a problem with it are woke activists and woke, what are they called again? Cunts. They're the only people who have a problem with it. I guarantee most Democrats in America, if they sit and read this story, will get to the bottom of it and conclude that's perfectly reasonable. Perfectly reasonable to ban little kids from learning about fucking. And I'm saying that, again, for all the difference it makes, in no way, in any shape or form, comfortable with, because I'm a liberal person, comfortable with attacking the LGBT community. This isn't an attack on the LGBT community in any way, shape or form. I don't want children learning about fucking when they're 7, even if it's heterosexual fucking. You can't say fairer than that, right? I don't want them hearing it. And 90% of parents don't want them hearing it. It's got nothing to do with LGBT. It's as they always do. They use people of colour, LGBTQI, marginalised communities, immigrants. Oh my God, it's homophobic. Anything that they can squeeze under the intersectional umbrella, they use that stuff to slide in everything. Sliding in everything. That's related to the sexual education stuff that I will happily cover when you're 12, kids. This is what they do. And it works so well. It works so well. You can't blame them for doing it because it's worked so fucking triumphantly well, better than they can possibly imagine. If you slip in legislation and put them in front of fucking politicians, even if they have the balls to call themselves conservative politicians, if you can put on there, it's an attack on marginalised people. It's the shit language they use. Marginalised communities, the LGBTQ plus I community, black and brown people, people of colour. If you can get any of those people on the intersectional umbrella squeezed into the bill, they will pass anything. But this fucking bill has nothing at all to do with LGBT rights. All it's all about is not telling children about fucking. And ladies and gentlemen, if you want 7-year-olds to learn about heterosexual fucking, you're a pervert as well. Got nothing to do with the LGBT community. I don't want to when I was in primary school, we did nothing on sexual education and we all turned out all right. We didn't not learn about it, and as a result, 7 years old, instead of playing Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles, I was there dry fisting one of the girls over the wall in the play park. It didn't happen because you don't need it. You don't need it. You let them gossip over the fucking playground wall and you tell them the facts when they get to about 11. That's what you do if you're a reasonable, normal person. These sick fucks want to brainwash children. I didn't get told about fucking when I was 7. I don't want them talking about it. I don't want them talking about it if you're straight. I don't want to talk about if you're straight. I don't want them to go, let's put the Gruffalo down, 7-year-olds. Today we're going to talk about shagging your dad in the missionary position. I don't want them learning about it. Nobody wants them learning about it. It's not about LGBT. It's just about not telling kids about sex. Let children enjoy their fucking childhoods without you freaky perverts bursting in and saying, right, kids, you're all 6 now. It's time to learn about Rogering. Yeah. You know where you come from? Your dad jizzed all over your mum's tits all the time. And then one time he forgot and smashed it in a fucking minge. And he unloaded a few pints of fucking baby gravy in your ear, you little cunt. Nobody wants children to hear that. Leave them alone, freaks. That's it. It's got nothing to do with LGBT. I don't want them learning about straight sex. Leave them alone. The only things I knew about when I was 7 was Leonardo, Raphael, Michelangelo, fucking Donatello. I didn't need anyone telling me about fucking. I don't care if it's heterosexual fucking, gay fucking, gimps, dildos, chains and whips and candle wax on the nipples. You sick freaks. Leave the kids alone. Let them be children. It's the one time in your life you can fucking enjoy yourself. 7, 8, 9. All you care about is playing, action figures, fucking all the good stuff. Kicking the ball around, enjoying your life, watching cartoons, playing video games. It's so good. And these sick freaks want to rob children of the innocence of youth. At least let them get to secondary school before you start throwing the fucking grumble mags at them, you twisted freaks. Right? That can conclude the BBC Spews today. These people fucking disgust me. It's got nothing to do with LGBTQ plus I and everything to do with sick pervert communists indoctrinating children and robbing them of the childhood. I didn't learn about fucking till I was 11, and I think that system worked quite well. I wasn't fucking girls when I was 8 years old, smashing them on my Action Man skateboard. It didn't happen. Okay, thanks for watching, ladies and gentlemen. I will see you all tomorrow. The views were slightly up there. Should we go for 7:30 regularly or keep the time at 7? I seem to have got a slightly higher following there. I'll tell you what, I'll put a poll out on my YouTube channel, which nobody will see because fucking Susan doesn't show anyone it. Anyway, all right, I'll make my mind up later. any issues, you can email me and call me a cunt. It's fine. All right. Thanks, everyone. See you tomorrow. Take it easy.